Punt, must run! Dark Lord 4Kids, why do you continue to torment me? Oh wait, we're already out. Phew! And we're never going back there again. And Bianca's decided to call us. Could you please call me sometime when I'm not tormented by evil puns? Oh, you just want to battle, okay. Oh, okay, Iris trained her. That actually makes me a little scared, if I'll be honest. But yeah, it looks like we're long overdue for a rival battle. So Bianca will be waiting for us at the entrance to Route 4, and we'd better go back and heal first, because, yeah, we're looking a little worse for wear. Little, why did you fail so much in that? I count a grand total of, what, 1 crit despite 3 critical hit rate boost stacking? Funny how the game does that to you. But, fortunately, Teehee did amazingly well. And Burgh was pretty pathetically easy, at least compared to the last 2 gyms. So, yeah, that's a relief. So now it's finally time to pretty much leave this city. We've basically done everything we need to do here. Now, if you haven't done any of the side quests in this city, you probably will want to, you know, do them now before you leave, because we won't be coming back here in a little while. I mean, we don't have Fly anyway, and getting back here is kind of inconvenient given what lies between this city and the next, let's just say. There are actually a couple of places in this city I forgot to show. I think that's because I actually did show them in one run, but, the recording must have glitched up or something, and, I think I lost the footage. This also includes the infamous lock capsule, room. It's in one of the later skyscrapers, and, what am I doing? I'll just go check ahead in the footage for a second. Oh, right, that's it. I'm swapping out Rocky for, I think, Lily there, because, yeah, having 2 fighting types is kind of redundant. I only put that in there for the Bug gym, really. Speaking of Bug, ignore this if X and Y have already come out at the time you're watching this, but, we now know the first gym leader of, yeah, X and Y is going to be Bug type, which is kind of funny because, I always had this hypothetical if I ever made a Pokemon game gym list that I had in my head, and I actually had the first gym as Bug too. So, that's actually kind of amusing, for me at least. But anyway, yeah, one of the houses here has the lock capsule in it. That's kinda, yeah, interesting for the fact that it relies on an event that was never released. But for the time being, here's Bianca. That was only a few minutes ago. But, before that, I actually kinda like this bit here that they do, because you know what happened the last time we battled Bianca in an enclosed building? But apparently it's fine, yeah, that's a big if though. Okay, it's time for a rival battle once again. And ironically, I actually find this rival battle to be actually tougher than Burgh was. It's still not that hard in the long run, but again, yeah, funnily enough, kind of amusing that. And again, oh, another Herdia, seriously? Well, this looks like a job for Damn the Dog Slayer once again. And I want to get out of bed and Intimidate, despite the fact that I really only have special moves. Okay, here comes Dan. Please don't crit me or something. Well, at least I got sturdy, but still. And I switch in on the free turn attack. That's great. Now I can just start hard and spamming. Oh, by now you pretty much know the drill with Herdias at this point. They pretty much haven't changed at all. Normally takedown is absolutely brutal, but at this point, yeah. I believe this is the first time Bianca's used a Herdia, actually. So, anyway. Yeah, using Dan does kind of run through your healing items quite a lot. Which is why I'm gonna probably need to restock my Soda Pops after this. Yeah, at this point, those drinks are the best cost-effective healing items you can actually get at this point in the game. So you do want to stock up on quite a few. Now, again, I really don't need to talk much about this. Again, this is just like the last, you know, 3 Herdias we've fought. Pretty much exactly the same. Just watch out for random clinches. Thankfully, that didn't happen then. So I guess I should just take this moment to say that recently I actually attended a bit of a live tournament in Australia. And this is a big deal because this is the very first time Australia actually has been recognised by the VGCs. This was just a qualifier event, but yeah, I lost I lost in the second round again, but I had a when I say again, it's because the past 3 tournaments I've done, I've all lost in the second round. This time was much better than the last time, though. The battle I lost in was actually a really good battle, one of the most fun and interesting battles I've had in a long time. I might post the battle video code in the description so you guys can go watch it, or just go and watch it on what's that thing now called? Pokemon PokeCheck. That's it, PokeCheck. You know, I'm still not up to date with that kind of thing, just because I, for one, am utterly disgusted at the idea of fake GTSs. It's just it's just cheating the system so much, and I seriously wish Nintendo cracks down on them. But I will admit, as a service for watching battle videos, and battle videos do get taken down from Nintendo servers eventually, so it's a good place to keep watching them. And also, you can see the exact IVs of your Pokemon, which is great now that you can't do IV battles anymore. So yeah, I only discovered the site quite recently, but I do quite like it for those purposes. I really hate fake GTSs and that little stuff and the like, and yeah, I just think that defense drop is a little too dangerous, so I'm getting out. Oh yeah, by the way, her starter's evolved. If you're doing a regular playthrough, yours should have evolved by now too, but for the time being, yeah. Oh yeah, speaking of that, this here is Dewalt's signature move, Razor Shell. Actually, not technically signature move, since Cloyster can get it too, but there aren't any Cloysters at this point, so yeah, for the time being it's considered the signature move of, yikes, that was painful, the Samurott line. Basically, it's essentially a water type Crush Claw, but I remember back in Ruby Sapphire, Crush Claw was actually oh, come on, you're not freaking serious, are you? Water Sport? Really? Anyway. Now, again, it's basically with, this thing, don't be surprised if it lowers your defense, because it's actually got a 50% chance of doing that, so, yeah. Don't call hacks just yet. I remember back in Ruby and Sapphire, I used a Zangoose quite often, and Crush Claw was actually really good on it. Yeah, I guess Return was stronger, but I really like the 50% defense drop. I believe Sand Slash used to use it a little bit too. It is quite a nice move, it just has pretty poor distribution. Razor Shell is basically the same thing, with even more poor distribution, but I guess it's an okay... You know what, I think Waterfall only has 5 more power, so as far as physical water moves go, it's probably a little bit better to use that. I believe it does have slightly less than perfect accuracy though, don't quote me on that, I'm not entirely sure, but I have a feeling it's got like 95. Yes, of course, I've got to deal with these people using these potions. Yeah, I've been used to competitive battling with actual real people so far, so, you know, for the last few weeks, so... so actually, you don't need to worry about this annoying use of items. And Razor Shell once again, hopefully I should be able to take... Whoa! Okay, I shouldn't be too surprised about that, because they used, Focus Energy a couple of turns ago. Focus Energy. No longer bugged like it was back in, Red, Blue, and Yellow. I really wish Pidove got it, though. That would be pretty amazing. And Muna. Now, yeah, this thing can be really annoying, especially with Hypnosis and the like, and kind of sad when Mega Drain is the strongest move I have, but really is. Of course, it was even sadder back in Red... Oh, you're still using Yawn, alright. It's even sadder back in the original Generation 1 games when Mega Drain was in fact the strongest draining move. Yeah! 40 power! That was the strongest draining move to win. That's not gonna do anything. So yeah, that was pretty pathetic. Even Giga Drain only had 60 power back then. It just wasn't that great, and oh, of course, I missed my sleep move just as you get yours in. I guess I'll hope for a critical here. Unless Bianca decides to violate Sleep Claws. Speaking of which, I actually had someone try and violate actually in the... Or confuse me, that too. Anyway, having Leech Seed up is always useful because your whole team benefits from it as long as the target Pokemon is still in the field. Anyway, I had someone in the tournament with a Breloom trying to violate Sleep Claws on me, and, well, I actually managed to, by sheer coincidence, stop them from doing it, through a couple of Protects and a couple of lucky double Protects, but, it was really the only thing I could do. The guy had Encored me into Protect, so, Normally I don't like trying to go for a double protect because it just relies on luck and is pretty cheap, but at this point, yeah, he had actually Encore locked me into using protect, so I might as well have done that actually. I did that really so that I thought he'd predict a switch after he encored me, so I stayed in for one more protect just to throw him like that, and I think I actually did successfully, so Headbutt has a little bit more accuracy than Fire Fang, so I guess it's a good thing to use here. Still, with you are not going to survive long enough to see me fall asleep, unless I miss that. Damn it! Oh well, unless I missed this one too, which I didn't. That's good. And yeah, Bianca is down. That wasn't so bad. Seriously, I'm just wondering, what did Iris train her against? Because Iris has like level 40s at this point. So it's kind of ironic, since in this challenge I actually consider Bianca harder than Sharon most of the time. But anyway. So, blah blah blah, character development, blah 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 blah. At least, hey, Pokemon actually has character development now, which is a pretty big step forward for the series. So, anyway, hope to see you again soon. Yeah, we're gonna have another battle eventually, aren't we? And now, with that out of the way, nothing is stopping us from checking this electronic bulletin board. No, I mean, checking that I successfully defeated Evil McPunpun Man. No, I mean, continuing on through this gate towards the next city. Well, into the next route. Biggest shopping area in the entire region? Wait a minute. Shopping Mall 9? Why the hell are they doing advertisements for that now? We can't get there until just before the 8th gym. But you'll see here at this point that the weather forecasts on these monitors actually become relevant about now, considering that Route 4 is now in a perpetual state of sandstorm, and I'm going to have to go back and heal, aren't I? Actually, really should go back and heal, because I don't want to spoil anything, but you might want to make sure you're healed before you head into this next route. So, you know what? You know what, at this point I basically said, do I only have one revive? Oh, and I need to use an awakening too. At this point, I think I basically just said, screw it, I'm going into this next battle, without visiting a Pokemon Center. Oh, right, I just spoiled it for you, but, yeah, anyway. If you're doing a challenge like this, you probably already know what to expect from the game. So, let's just keep walking up here on this route, and... Hi there! That music can only mean one thing. It's time for Rival Battle number 2! Yep, we've got a double dose of rivals this session, back to back, and I'm going to do it back to back without Pokemon Center visits. So, yeah, I'm a masochist like that. So, let's go Charon, and I still think Charon's pose in the Versus art looks like an Ace Attorney character. In fact, it's kind of funny because I actually only yesterday watched the, yesterday after, recording this commentary, watched the live-action Ace Attorney movie, and even though this is kind of irrelevant to this video, I'll just say that as far as video game movies go, it's one of the best I've seen. Then again, visual novels are probably the only video games that actually make good movies, from what I've seen, because the Professor Layton movie was pretty good too, and, I don't think I never really thought the Fate Stay Night stuff was, they're all pretty good too, so, yeah, it's pretty much just visual novels, and I don't want to go into that anymore, because, we're battling Charon now, and he's got a Pidove, so once again, Dan, in this case, he's going to have to be Burgh Slayer, can take care of this, but, yeah, Harden's not going to help me against those air cutters. Kind of weird that, the Pidove line's repertoire consists mostly of special moves, which is a little strange considering they mostly have high physical attack. That's why, seriously, I really hope the Fletchling line improves on... Oh, damn it. Yeah, you get the critical hit, obviously. Because my Pidove can never get that, even with multiple stacking in it. Oh, crap. This is not good. You can probably tell why I'm feeling like this, because out of the 3 Pokemon I have left... Oh, this is even worse. And you have Roost now? Oh, wow, this is really bad. Anyway, like I was saying, out of the 3 Pokemon I have, 2 of them are weak to flying, so, this could be pretty bad. Oh, you've got quick attack. Oh, and another oh, what the hell? Oh, this is insane. Wow, this is pretty bad, I will say. Just gotta tough my way through this. Maybe not visiting the Pokemon Center was not such a good idea after all. Oh well, I went the masochist route and I'm paying the price. Please don't critical me again. Thank you. Oh, finally hit with that. See, Hustle is, yeah, really annoying. You know what's really funny is the very... Okay, this should be pathetically easy though. Hustle roughly equates to anything weak to fire is dead with a capital D. So anyway, the very first time I played Black and White, I actually thought that Darumaka had sheer force and not, and not Hustle. And so what happened was that while I was actually using these moves, I started to think that actually changed Headbutt's accuracy to make it less than perfect, because I kept missing with it. Then it was someone on a forum who kindly reminded me that Leopard, whoa! Anyway, kindly reminded me that, yes, he indeed has Hustle. Now, Leopard here is the evolved form of Purloin, and you could probably get one at this point in the game if you've been training Purloin, which I don't recommend since it's not really that great of a Pokemon until its Dream World ability got released. Yeah, Prankster. Prankster's actually quite annoying on this thing. It's going to be gone in a few moments, but it gets a whole lot of moves with which to abuse Prankster with and generally be irritating. In fact, the guy I actually lost to in the tournament actually used a Prankster Leopard. Prankster Encore, yeah, that was irritating. In fact, its whole moveset consisted of, I believe it was something along the lines of Protect, Encore, Fake Out, and Sucker Punch. Essentially, its entire moveset was priority, so it never had to worry about speed. As a result of that, it actually worked well on a Trick Room team. I believe, I think he actually did try Trick Room at one point, but... Or at least someone tried Trick Room on me, and then that Prankster Leopard... No, that wasn't him, he had a Rain team. No, there was another guy who had a Prankster Leopard, and he had a Trick Room team, and of course, Trick Room doesn't actually affect you much when all your moves are priority anyway. Would be actually pretty cool if Trick Room reversed priority. Actually, no, it wouldn't, come to think of it, because Roar and Whirlwind, yikes, that would be totally broken then. Uh-oh, this is bad. Okay, yeah, that Pink Knight just seems to be standing Flame Charge, which is a move that's kind of mostly associated with the, oh boy, this is really bad, with the, Tepig line. It's a physical fire move with fairly weak power, but it's guaranteed to raise your speed every time it's used. Of course, his AI is derping now and using Defense Curl, but seriously. It helps Tepig make up for its main shortcoming, and when it does that, it can actually really power through teams this early on in the game. This could have ended very badly, if it weren't for the fact that the Sandstorm here is going to be... Oh, no, seriously, is that a Citrus Berry? Oh, yeah, it is. Wow, they're using that at this point. And we've got the Sandstorm hurting us. See, fortunately, none of Cheren's Pokemon are immune to Sandstorm, so they'll constantly be taking damage, but the same can be said of you unless you have a Rock type or a, Can you even get any Ground types at this point in the game? Oh yeah, Drillbur. Yeah, so Rock type or Drillbur. And you're slowly going down. You know what? Normally I'd say haha, but at this point I actually think that could be possible if his AI wasn't incredibly stupid. Like, for example, if he started to use Double Kick here, he could very easily sweep my whole team. In fact, if I was playing as him, I probably would have had this one right here, but of course it's not me playing as him, it's the AI, and despite their massive hacks, they tend to be a bit of a derp sometimes, like now when they're spamming Defense Curl. Of course, Defense Curl means that, yeah, that's happening. But, fortunately, Sandstorm is going to take you out at the end of this turn anyway. Unless you use a Super Potion. Please don't use a Super... Thank you. Okay, I've won this. This was incredibly close, though. Yeah, this could have gone very badly. Moral of this story, go back and heal before you do the Cheren fight, because, yeah, this was not good. You know what? It's purely the fault of your AI. Again, a human player in that situation would easily have won. But... yeah, actually, it's because your AI derped. Hey, he's actually referring to his starter specifically, and we've got another X-Transit cross transceiver or whatever called. I thought it would be the Professor. Yeah, in this game, really, the cross transceiver only serves as, like, plot item. But in the sequels, it actually had some kind of use. Pretty good use, actually. Especially, I never realized just how helpful calling up Bianca on that thing was. I didn't realize that not only does she tell you if you've maxed out your effort points completely, she actually tells you if, you've got one stat maxed, and she counts 252, not 255. And it was about here that I decided to attend to a couple of random mundane tasks. Firstly, I travelled back to Nimbasa and bought a whole bunch of soda pops in preparation for the next journey. Yeah, I'm going to need a whole lot of these. Then, I went back to the PC and contemplated for a moment switching out Sork here for my newly caught fighting type Rhyme, the Scraggy. In the end, I actually decided it was best not to. Well, Sork is pretty stupidly overpowered as it is, and Scraggy doesn't actually have any fighting moves, and I kinda still need a good fighting type. Yeah, despite the levels getting above 20 at this point, level 17 Sork is still proving really useful, so I'll put him back in. And other than that, I just went and gave Teehee a little hero medal for one-shotting Burgh's strongest Pokemon. I just thought he deserved it. And now, back to the action. Welcome to Route 4, for real this time. We finally have a chance to fully explore this place. Route 4 is the obligatory sandstormy desert, and here's something really convenient right at the start here. If you talk to this lady in the house here, she'll offer you free healing. So, it's good after those rival battles you've just been through. Also, if you're going to be training here just before the, Now, I'm not sure if you have... I'm pretty sure you actually do have access to this house before the third gym. Now, this area I'm going into right now, yeah, you actually have access to this whole area before the third gym. So I'd actually recommend training here a bit if you could, you know, actually get experience. And hey, I was right on the spot there. Yeah, it's a good idea to turn your item finder, dowsing machine here on, just because there's a whole lot of good items to find here in the desert. Like an Ultra Ball. That's good because we can't actually buy those at this point. You want to save that for something really good though. Now there are a whole bunch of trainers here, so I'm going to do my best to try sneaking around them. Again, there's a lot of good items to get here, and this whole area, again, you can access this before the third gym, so I'd highly recommend doing that. And stupid sand. I believe back in Gen 3 you actually found Pokemon in the desert sand as well. But yeah, the desert in that game... Well, I'll just say the desert in this one has much more upbeat music. And I've got Smoke Ball now, so I can safely flee from any wild Pokemon I want. That would have been really useful back at that embarrassing Sork incident. Now here's where I kind of derped and thought, hey, she's not turning around, maybe she's not a trainer. Oh, how wrong I was. And that's a really cool battle intro animation. You don't see it that often, actually. And Parasol Lady. They tend to show up, throughout the whole series, Parasol Ladies tend to show up in areas associated with weather. So, yeah, it is a bit weird, though, why you'd be bringing a Parasol to a desert. I don't know, unless it helps you keep cool or something. But especially not in the middle of a sandstorm, I mean... And this game doesn't even justify... This doesn't even talk about you needing goggles to be in the sandstorm, like Generation 3. So I'm not entirely sure how... then again, of course, Generation 3 also allowed the protagonist to breathe perfectly fine underwater. So, yeah, and... Oh, boy, confusion. I've said it before and I'll say it again, I really don't like Tim Hall very much. Every generation just seems to introduce that ugly Pokemon nobody likes. Although admittedly, Stunfisk in this one was actually quite good because it actually made that concept funny. Yeah, Stunfisk is still pretty popular, I think, but anyway, you know, the phenomenon has even gone on since Generation 1, when apparently a lot of people don't like Mr. Mime and consider it incredibly hideous. I don't know, I've actually kind of liked Mr. Mime only because, again, I'm more stats and move pool than design, and it's quite a decent Calm Mind bat passer, and it gets quite a few good moves. And finally, okay, that was really good. As for Gen 2, you know what's funny, I thought a lot of those Pokemon were more bland than ugly, really. And I don't really want to go into the rest because, I don't like touching on that aspect of the fandom. Anyway, yeah, we're slowly healing the damage rest of Sandy from Sandstorm, and totally sweeping this girl's team with, Petalil. Petalil, again, is actually a pretty good Pokemon. Oh, yeah, again, pretty much the lore of Pokemon, isn't it, that you always get the critical hits just when you, that's weird. Or you always get the critical hits when you don't need them. It's kind of funny though, because this is a bit of a very, very weird tangent, but on the topic of RPGs, I've been playing Persona 3 lately, and, funnily enough, that game seems to have the exact same critical hit lore. You always tend to get the criticals right when you kill the enemy anyway. In that case though, getting a critical gave you an extra turn, even if you did kill the enemy. So, they were actually still helpful there. Alright, the item's over there. Actually, tired workers should go to the free healing house. And speaking of workers, there are a couple here. I don't think... Oh, actually, we might be able to avoid that guy. There's an item here. Now, you might notice here that this area is looking kind of like a construction site for a new, set of buildings. Yeah, we'll find out more about that in the sequel, but it takes a different turn depending on whether you're playing Black 2 or White 2. I've only seen the Black 2 version because that's the version I play, but, again, most YouTube playthroughs are of White 2, so... It just seems like that's the... White's more popular in America and Black seems more popular in Japan, and I've always gone with what's more popular in Japan. Now over here, we get the TN Torment! So that's we're tormenting you. Yeah. Anyway, it's kind of funny because we're actually near an ancient Egyptian tomb Pokemon, so, that's kind of amusing. But, anyway, all references aside, this is as far as you can go before you've beaten the third gym. So, yeah, you can't go any further. That's pretty redundant, but, anyway. So, we should go back to the main part of the route. Again, if you're doing a normal playthrough, you should just seriously battle these people just to, you know, get more experience for the next gym. Although you don't really need again, like I've shown you that Darumaka, even at minimum level, totally trivializes Burgh, except for the Dwebble. But anyway, let's go heal and explore the rest of the route, which actually isn't that much. I skip the vast majority of trails on this route are quite easily skippable, so it goes by pretty quickly. There is, however, another area, just a bit of an offshoot of this route that, yeah, is quite big and easy to get lost in. So, and he's actually talking about it right now, the Desert Resort. No idea why it's called that. Now, there's this backpacker here. Now, normally I would just avoid him, but I kind of had this suspicion there was a backpacker on this route who shared my name, as in my real-life name. I definitely know there is a backpacker somewhere in this game who has my name, but, yeah, it wasn't this guy, and I don't think it was anyone on this route, so, that was, yeah, an exercise in futility, really. I won't tell you what my name is, but I will tell you there is a bird keeper in Gold and Silver who has my name as well. The bird keepers in Gold and Silver are the male variety, right? I'm pretty sure they are. Yeah, female bird keepers only showed up in, Diamond and Pearl, I think. Yeah, they give it with is this the first backpacker we've battled? I think it... Is it? I'm not sure. Well, did we see any of these earlier near Pinwheel Forest? I don't know, but in case I haven't said it before, the gimmick with backpackers is that most of the time, they only have one Pokemon. But when an opponent has one Pokemon, they usually, it's usually a slightly higher level than most of the other things on the route, so, yeah. The general rule of thumb is the more Pokemon a trainer has, the lower level they are. Pokemon breeders generally take this to an extreme, and it can get really, really annoying with how they work in, speaking of how they work in the sequels, there's one right at the start of this route who happily barricades this area off and challenges you every time you want to get back to Castelia City. It's incredibly irritating until you get Fly. So anyway, you might notice I haven't actually caught a Sandile yet. That's a conscious decision. You can actually get these things at a higher level later on. And I'm definitely going to need one for the next gym, so I'm going there. Now, I'm going to have to circumvent a lot of this area and get past these trainers. So yeah, trekking through the desert, not battling trainers. I guess I can say one thing. The desert right here, yeah, it's caused a bit of infamy among certain publications. There are some people who think it's a little, kind of a bit unfortunate that the desert, if Unova represents New York, the desert just happens to coincide with the area that would coincide with Ground Zero. The less said about that the better, but I can assure you it's completely 100% unintentional. Yeah, there have been so many stupid conspiracy theorists about the Pokemon series, but they're all just downright stupid. Yeah, I was having a feeling this backpacker was the one. I don't think he is. Oh, definitely not. Although, funnily enough, he does share a name with a character in Advance Wars Days of Ruin. If you have the European version... Actually, no, wait. American version. Sorry, I keep getting those two mixed up. Again, why do they have to make all the characters' names different between the American and European versions of that game? That's... really pisses me off that. It's just... It makes it almost impossible to discuss the game online coherently, because you're all talking about different names for different characters. It's just, So again, Waylon is the name of the, enemy pilot character, in the, I'll just call them the Yellow Army, because, again, the army names are different in the different versions too, of the Yellow Army, let's just say, who was kind of a jerk. Except, some people kind of like him for, how his particular manner of speaking. So yeah, I believe he's called Finn in the European version. I actually do kind of like Waylon better, but, yeah. I also like the, going off on a tangent, I also like the chapter name Waylon Flies Again much better than, I believe that chapter is called Rearguard Action in the European version, which is completely dull in comparison. So, yeah, that sign talked to us about PP. We should probably know about that by now. Generally speaking, PP is not an issue unless it's with moves that either have 5 PP or 10 PP if you're kind of a staller. But again, usually PP is not an issue, which is why generally I tend not to bother with PP ups that much. Now we've got two paths we can go here. We can go forward and see this nice freeway here. This is awesome. It's this kind of thing that makes me really wish that Black and White were on 3DS, because you kind of feel like the game was designed with 3D in mind, but it wasn't. Anyway, there's that weird spinning around worker sentry over there. Want to avoid him. Also want to avoid this guy. Don't want to run, otherwise he'll turn around. And right here we have something rather interesting. Yeah, vending machines in a desert. Vending machines in a desert. That idea is awesome. They should do that in real life. Would save so many people from dying. Unless it would probably get really annoying if they didn't have any change on them, though. But anyway, this house is incredibly important. I mean, speaking of lifesavers, talk to this guy and you get a TM of Dig. Now, if you know the next gym is electric, Dig is going to be incredibly useful. Or at least it would be if the 2/3 of her team wasn't immune to ground. Yeah, that's pretty irritating. But at least it hits the one that isn't for really good damage, and that's pretty much good enough. It also helps you avoid attacks. Anyway, now part of me was kind of thinking that this was a father and son double battle team. It's not, so you don't have to worry. But anyway, we're heading this way before we go up. Up leads to our next destination, but this area leads to a place off the beaten path. This leads to deeper into the desert and some ruins. Now, this area is entirely optional, but in a no-experience playthrough, you want to go here, because there's quite a few good Pokemon to be found here. And I mean really good Pokemon, and at quite high levels too. So, over here, we have the entrance to the Desert Resort. Yeah. No you can't. You can only run into them in dark sand. That's stupid. You're totally wrong. You think that deserts are like in caves where, you know, you can find wild Pokemon anywhere. Anyway, so here we've got ruins of some ancient nation. Kind of a staple of the Pokemon series, but this one is actually pretty cool. I do like this one. Oh wow, that sentence could have been really ominous if it was talking about something else. Anyway. Okay, so Sandstorm is still going on in the Desert Resort. And yeah, so researchers investigating the ruins, blah 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 blah. What's in these mysterious ruins? Well, we'll find out next time when we explore the Desert Resort. I will see you then. After some quick healing. Which actually we kind of didn't need, because, well, you'll see in a moment.